And I think the most relevant to say about Bennett is I concede his tough guy status to Hathaway. I come around to that. At first I thought it was Bennett. He's got the most penalty minutes, but lately he hasn't been getting that much. He must have been loading them in at the start of the season. Like, he'll go out and play some tough minutes and he'll stand up for his player, but I think Hathaway is the team tough guy.
Yeah.
Did you see when he drove Kunin's head to the boards in Minnesota?
See, I actually thought it was just optically looked bad, but he didn't drive his head because it looked like the guy hit him and was going to fall anyways, and his arm just happened to be...
To guide his face to the edge.
Well, no, I actually think his arm probably didn't... If you took his arm away, it would have been the same. It just because his arm was there, it looked like he slammed the guy's face into the boards.
Yeah, it definitely did, but at the same time, it didn't look vicious, and of course, the league didn't make much ripples of news afterwards, but it was pretty fun to watch during the game. So, like, that and, Hathaway's kind of like getting under the nose. He's got that Kachuk way of trying to disturb as much as he can. Well, Bennett is more just a quiet, tough guy.
Yeah. With a sweet Muzzy. Since his Muzzy disappeared, things haven't been going so good. It
could have all been on the Muzzy, so we're asking you, Bennett, grow that Muzzy.
We want to see the Muzzy. Another guy who got a promotion this week was Mangiapane.
Oh, yeah, we saw him on the second line with Backlund.
And Lindholm, I think.
Lindholm, and it looked pretty good. It didn't last, but it looked good. Yeah, that's right. Peters brought out pretty much three new looking lines for Vegas.
For Vegas, yeah.
Yeah. And it was good. I really like the fact that he can throw his lines in a blender and there's still like a baseline chemistry that happens. Even when he did that, they were still moving the puck well. Just no points to show for it.
So, after playing Vegas, how concerned are you about finishing second in the Pacific and having to play Vegas in the first round? Are you putting more of a premium on being first now?
I don't know. Coming off a 4-game losing streak, I'm just going to stay happy to make the playoffs. We were talking, when we were riding high, we were a little more in depth on this conversation. Vegas is strong, but at the same time, like, Dallas and Minnesota put up some pretty good competition against Calgary, and those are most likely going to finish fourth in a wildcard spot.
Yeah, they might miss the playoffs too, but they're teams that could finish fourth.
Yeah, I think it's the best chance of finishing fourth.
Yeah, whereas if we finish second, it's almost guaranteed it's Vegas.
Yeah,
and I actually have a slightly different opinion than you. I think we have to go for first. Vegas scares me.
Yeah.
They're good.
Vegas is good. Fleury is a good goaltender, but so is Bishop and Dubnyk.
Right, but the teams in front of them just aren't as powerful. I think I have real concerns about the Flames in a 7-game series. One of my concerns is maybe they're more constructed as a regular season team than a playoff team. And I think it would be such an advantage to them to play the weakest team in the first round and get past that. And in the second round, now you're playing San Jose or Vegas, who's, they beat each other up for a whole 7-game series, hopefully, and you have an advantage. So I think you've got to go for first place with everything.
Yeah. Makes sense. Between Dallas and Minnesota, would you have a preference of who you want to face?
Probably Dallas, I'd say. I think just defensively, they're not that strong, and that plays to the Flames' favor, who is strong offensively.
I go for Minnesota because I like that bad blood, and it looks like this is when Calgary plays physical. It seems like they hate Minnesota, so they'll come out swinging, and they won't look like a team that doesn't hurt or hit very much. 30.
You just want to see the tomato face.
The classic Bruce Boudreau tomato face. Oh, I love to see that face get red.
But yeah, you mentioned hitting, and we talked about this before the podcast. The Flames in hits are ranked last in the league.
Yeah.
And just to give some perspective, the Flames are averaging 15.2 hits a game. Chicago is second last at 16. So we're a whole hit behind second last. And then you go to first, it's Pittsburgh. They have 29.4.
And that shit is noticeable, the fact that the Flames get out-hit and, like, out-muscled. When Flames are moving the puck well, it's not a big deal. But when games have to be grinded out, which will happen in the playoffs.
Yeah. And you know who's second in hits? Vegas. So really, I don't like that matchup.
They got Ryan Reeves, man. That's a one-man
that's like
wrecking ball.
10 hits a game. Man, that guy's a monster. I never realized how like huge he looks on the ice. But just to get back to the stats quickly, the sixth last team, San Jose, they don't hit much either. That's good for us. Yeah. Minnesota, seventh last in hits. That's good for us. Dallas, they're somewhere in the middle. So all those matchups are much better than Vegas.
Yeah.
But speaking of going on the road, should we take a trip?
And go meet a mascot?
Let's do it.
Hello.
Yes, today we travel to Nashville. Ganache or Nash? Do you think the G is silent?
I think it's a silent G, like Django, where the D is silent.
Okay, so Nash is the mascot for the Nashville Predators. The saber-toothed tiger character was selected as the team mascot after archaeological excavations at the First America cave site in downtown Nashville unearthed the partial skeleton of a saber-toothed cat. The name...
Bullshit.
It's true. Apparently in the 1970s, they dug up a saber-toothed tiger.
In the downtown Nashville area.
Yeah. The name Nash is a pun on the first syllable of the city's name. Obviously. I still think maybe it should be Ganache. Like this guy from India who works in IT. Ganache.
Ganache? Ganache. No. It's silent. But it's like the sound when you chomp down. Ganache!
Yeah, actually that makes sense. Nash's trademarks include stunts, fast rappels from the arena rafters, and with no apparent problems. Not like, was it S.J. Sharkey who got stuck?
Yeah.
Other stunts are jumping a four-wheel ATV off a ramp onto the ice, and a pendulum swing that takes him under the scoreboard and just inches off the ice. Man,
no way.
There's going to be a viral video someday with stunts like that. Nash also dances during intermission and pulls pranks on fans of the visiting team, usually ending with a pie in the face.
Ooh, pie in the face. You know, you gotta give it to Nashville. I hear it's like one of the most fun buildings. Smashville, man, during the playoffs, they got the best chance. You know, all the crowd gets behind. They got the band stage.
Yeah, I love the band stage.
Yeah.
There was one game I was watching on the internet, and so at intermission break, the camera just stayed in the arena, and they had a concert during intermission.
Yeah, on the backstage.
And I forget who the guy was. It was an older rocker guy from the 80s, but he went up there and did a nice, like the 2 or 3 songs you recognize. It was really cool.
In the intermission?
In intermission, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but...
yeah, give it to Nashville, man. They gotta have a cool mascot. Nash looks pretty cool.
And the one thing I want to mention about pies to the face, which Nash jumps up the list to almost top mascot for me just based on this, is there's an awesome YouTube video where he hits Gene Principe in the face with a pie.
Oh, Gene Principe. He deserves every moment of that pie smashing in the face.
Yeah, and if Nash ever gets Eric Francis...
Oh, man, I might just have support in Nashville if that's the case.
Just based on the mascot pieing people.
Yeah. No, one of the better ones. He looks cool. You know, there's no like ambiguity of what he is. He's a saber-toothed tiger.
An anthropomorphic saber-toothed tiger.
Dug up in the streets of Nashville.
But I do like that there's some actual history. Because Calgary Flames, we have a dog. Doesn't make that much sense. The Dallas has a space creature. This one has some like actual history why they've called him, or why they've chosen a saber-toothed tiger.
And he jumps a four-wheeler.
Yeah. And he's prone for a sweet YouTube video of him crashing at some point.
All right, good stuff, Nash.
Okay.
Shall we look around the league?
Yes, take us around the league, Dan.
Kucherov is up to his usual tricks, scoring goals, placing a puck right between the Hellbuck's eyes. Did you catch that? Tags him right in the forehead.
No, I didn't see that.
It's a good shot. Hellbuck stayed strong. Actually, I don't know if he left. I think he left for a concussion protocol, but came back. So good on Hellbuck for being strong there.
And just one thing on Kucherov, I heard he's now set the record for points in Tampa Bay. So no player has scored more points as a Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, no shit, man. This guy looks to be breaking all sorts of records this year. One hell of a year of an already started career. So, lucky Tampa Bay having a stacked team and just winning nonstop. Coach Coops must be pretty happy. Loving life.
Yeah, and you're in Tampa Bay. Not a bad climate there.
All right, the other thing caught my eye this week was Ferland going Bacchus. My boy Ferland. So I think he laid out a hit on some other Boston player, and Bacchus stepped up for the fight, and Ferland gave it to him.
So Ferland fought Bacchus.
Yeah, sorry, it was Johnston. Ferland laid out Johnston. Bacchus said, "Hey, it's go time," and Ferland goed him. Took him down. No, it was I give the fight to Ferland. I checked the injury board, and he's injured again. He seems to be like day to day, on and off quite a bit this year, Ferland. So in that sense, it is kind of a good thing to not have a band-aid on your team. Flames have been pretty healthy.
But the question is, how many games will he play? If it ends up being 70 games, that's not bad to miss here and there. But if it's 60-50... different story. But your boy Ferland, you always like how he hits and fights. So.
Yeah, and he's taking Carolina. Well, Sebastian Aho, I'd say, is taking Carolina for a real playoff wildcard run.
Yeah, let's look at the stats.
Yes. So Atlantic is pretty locked down. Tampa Bay, Boston, Toronto, no doubt. Metropolitan, the Islanders, Washington's caught up. They're both tied. Pittsburgh squeaked into that third spot. So Pittsburgh, Carolina, and Montreal are kind of all battling for 3 spots.
Yeah, well, Pittsburgh is in third there, so it looks like Carolina and Montreal have the 2 wild cards.
Yeah.
But it's Columbus who's right on the border.
Yeah, Carolina was in third in the Metropolitan. So what I'm looking at is basically Columbus better get their shit together if they even want to think about fitting in there, because those other teams, Montreal's a little streaky, or not their top performance. So
yeah, they're 5-5 in the last 10, so they're just kind of chugging along 500. But what's interesting about the Metro is New York's in first with 85 points, and the playoffs, Carolina's has the last sort of wild card at 79, so 6 points is not a huge gap.
No, it's not.
So you go on one losing streak and you could be out, and Columbus, they're 2 points out, but if they go on one winning streak, they could get in. But it is crazy. They go all in. They get Duchesne, they get Dzingel, they get the guy from New York, McQuaid, and they haven't won since, and Tortorella looked dumbfounded.
Yeah, he said, I don't know why my team's not winning. And in all these interviews, he looks un-Tortorella-ish, like almost like his heart's not into it.
He looks like a man beaten down.
Yeah. And
there's the goaltending thing too, which is crazy. They left their number one goalie behind, or maybe he was at the game, but in the...
No, I heard he didn't go on the trip.
That's crazy. You have a very important game against Pittsburgh, and...
Well, it's a home and home.
Home and home, so...
He was just waiting for them to come back. That's all.
Yeah.
So, because of all this, the Metropolitan is probably the most interesting in terms of those open spots, or it has the most open spots. Over in the West, Central, Nashville, Winnipeg. Winnipeg's kind of slumping, but they're still sitting pretty in the top seed. St. Louis